During December, everybody wants to make a lot of money. The price hike, the price gouging, all of that has started. Most people can make their entire years. They hear it in your tonation, they hear it. You too, you're going to get extorted. And it puts Ghana in a very bad light. If you're coming to Ghana and you're making up stuff for clout, just to go viral. Some of you come into Ghana in December and you do ridiculous things. It is our moral responsibility to be wise in the things that we are doing and the things that we are saying. Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, it is officially December. December is a whole different world when it comes to Ghana. Before I get into today's video, I want to tell you all about Lemfi. Lemfi is a really great app for changing money and sending money back home. Okay, I even use it while I'm in Ghana here to change my money from pounds to cedis. Okay, the thing I love about Lemfi is that the money comes through in minutes, there are no fees involved, and it's a very easy process. So if you're thinking about sending money back home to Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, any of those, then definitely check out the Lemfi app. Right now, they do have some great promotions going on. If you use my code Dela, you'll actually get some cash back on your first qualifying transaction. They also have a few competitions happening here and there. So if you haven't already downloaded the app and you're looking for an easy way to change money, definitely go download the app. Okay, guys, we are officially in December. December is great for a lot of reasons. I love December just because of the feel that Ghana has. If you've never experienced Ghana in December and it's your first time coming to Ghana, I would actually suggest that you don't make your first time in Ghana December, because unless you're prepared to understand that Ghana in December is not a real place. Nothing that happens in December in Ghana is real, okay? So I don't want you to confuse coming to Ghana in December and what December is like later on in any other time of the year, okay? So that's really important for you to understand if you are thinking about moving here. But if you are coming to Ghana in December just to have a good time and, you know, you want to come, you want to spend your money, you just want to have a good time, then fine. You could come as your first experience in Ghana, you can come and experience all that. But it's really important for you to understand that that is not a representation of what Ghana is. In Ghana, most people are a lot more relaxed. There's a lot more things happening. Ghana is, I want to say, faster paced. But when I say faster paced, I mean in terms of the things that are happening. There are a lot of events. There's a lot of networking things happening. There's a lot of celebrities here. There are a lot more things happening on the ground during December and part January, I would say, than there is during the rest of the year. And so if you're trying to get a grasp of what what Ghana is like, December is probably not a good time to try and experience that. Now, the thing about December, and I personally love December, I love the whole fantasy of December, but I understand it for what it is. The reason that I love it is because in December, I feel like I'm on holiday. December actually refreshes me, even though it can be a really exhausting time because there are so many things that happen back to back that, you know, you have, like, for me as an influencer, a lot of these events that I have to go to, right, I have to be a bit more outside than I usually am during the rest of the year. And I kind of like it. And so I make space for that time, right? I make mental capacity space for that time. And so I kind of like that season. But I realize that it is only a season. And at some point, my life has to go back to normal. Okay. Now, one of the things that happens during this time that is not so nice is that everything goes up. There is an inflation that happens in Ghana that will knock anybody for six. Everything goes up. Everything goes up. During December, everybody wants to make a lot of money, which I understand. And especially because the diaspora are coming into Ghana with a lot of money. And so therefore, everybody's like, I want some of that money. So people are doing things in order to get that money. And so that's why I say that Ghana becomes a very unreal place, okay? Now, the downside of this is that when people come in and this season happens, everything goes up, right? Inflation goes up. It's not necessarily the cost of living, the general cost of living in Ghana that goes up. It is just an inflation that happens during December. But the sad thing is that a lot of the time, when these prices go up, they often stay up. So those of us that live in Ghana, we feel the effects of it. And it can be quite hard because not all of us are making money from the West in the way that, so we can't spend, we don't have necessarily have the same spending power as a lot of the diaspora that's coming in to have a good time. And because we share similar attributes with you, we often fall into this category where we're expected to pay for things in the same way that those that are coming in to party are expected to pay for things. And it becomes a battle on the ground, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Now, I just came back from the States a couple of weeks ago. And when I got to the airport and I was calling my Uber, you know, I did a video recently where I spoke about Uber and I said how much I think it should roughly cost to get from the airport to my house, right? The price had almost doubled this time. And I was like, why is it? I was thinking maybe, you know, I like a bargain, right? So I'm like, let me close the app. Let me wait a few minutes. Maybe prices are just high right now. And I stood there, I waited like 20 minutes and still the price was the same. I was like, oh no. And then I realized it's because it is December and everything goes up in December, including Uber, Bolt, all of those things that you think where, you know, the price would kind of like be held steady. No. Those prices also go up, because I had arrived just before December. Now, the thing is, because everything goes up, right, even flights into Ghana, into Nigeria as well, I would say, go up in a silly way. Flights almost double, or even, can I say triple? I don't know. But flights almost can double, right? And so what happens to avoid a lot of that, a lot of people start flying in just before December to avoid the spike in flight fares, right? So I landed just before December. And so because of that, people are still seeing that, okay, well, people are coming in earlier, so prices are going up. So I was like, okay, well, I either have to walk to my house with my suitcases or I'm going to have to pay for this Uber. So I had to pay for the Uber. It was just a ridiculous price. And once I realized that it was December price, I was like, oh, it has started. The price hike, the price gouging, all of that has started. I have to tell people all the time, listen, I live here. Please don't try that with me. I like, you're not going to be able to extort me. You know, I got to the airport and everybody's been super friendly. Madam, let me help you with your bags. Let me get you in a car for you. Let me get a trolley for you. Let me do this for you. I'm like, no. I am not one of them. I really try to separate myself because I know what is going on. I know the deal. And one thing you have to understand is during December and early January, that is where most businesses, most establishments make their money. And to give you an idea of what that looks like, I can say that most people can make their entire year's worth of profits during December. That will give you an idea of how much money people are making. Everything goes up, as I said. You know, transport goes up. Airbnbs go up. Not my Airbnb though. So if you're interested and you need a place to stay, I have one of my apartments available. Send me an email, Dela@multidela.com, and we can sort something out. So yeah, small plug there. So absolutely everything goes up. Restaurant prices go up. All of it goes up just to cater to December. And it's really unfair for those of us that live here because we know what the real price is. But unfortunately, we get swept up in this whole thing of it's December, it's dirty December, and therefore the price of everything goes up. Now, social media makes it a lot worse as well because during December, as people fly in, they come to have a good time, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. The issue that happens is that once the diaspora that have flown in to have a good time during December leave, often the prices are left the same. Nothing in Ghana goes down. The price pretty much stays up and nothing goes down. So therefore, those of us that are left here are left with the repercussions of it. And I'm sure if you live in Ghana, if you lived here for a while, you can kind of see that happen right before your eyes. And it's a consequence that we have to bear. Those of us that live in Ghana, we have to bear what that looks like for us, okay? It becomes very much more expensive, okay? So social media, when people come to Ghana, social media will show that, You know, they do all these luxury things. So they go stay in these very expensive hotels. You know, they do these amazing tours. You know, they're spending money. They're going to very expensive events. And that's all good. That's all good for them. It works for you because you've come to spend your money. But for those of us that are here, that we have an accent, we get caught up in the whole whirlwind of what that looks like for us. And we always have to argue our corner that we understand, we know what the real price is, we're not paying for that. And it becomes very difficult for us to match you who's coming with your spending power to us who live here and know what the real price is, right? So as I said, events go up. So even there's a particular club that I like to go to. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't want you all to show up. I'm just joking. But there's a particular club that I like to go to. And I remember last year, you know, go to this club all the time. There's this one particular day that we went and I got to the door and they were like, oh, it's 500 cedis entry. And I was like, what? I was with my partner and the two of us were like, what? Like, But, you know, thankfully the manager saw us and he was like, oh, no, you can just come in because, you know, we go there all the time. But I was like, 500 cedis. I understand if it's a special event, but for the most part, everybody's trying to capitalize. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think that it should be done within reason. And it just becomes a problem because Ghana just is seen in this light where it's very, very expensive. And it affects everything. Like I said, flights now, transport, everything just goes up. And once it goes up, it stays up and it's a problem for all of us. You know, even you who think, oh, you're coming from the diaspora and, you know, well, you can speak Tree, you can speak Ghana, you can speak Ewe, so it won't be a problem. No, no, no. Ghanaians are so good at hearing that you are not from Ghana. They hear it in your tonation, they hear it. You too, you're going to get extorted. You're going to get extorted. It's going to happen. But I mean, even having said that, Ghana is a great place to come during December if you wanna let loose, you wanna have a good time. Like as I said, for me, I like Ghana during that time because I get to almost be on holiday without having to actually go on holiday. I like the spirit that happens in December. But if you're not used to it, or if you're coming to Ghana and you just want to have this new experience and see what Ghana is like, you're not going to get a reality of what that is in December, January time, I'd say. I'm going to say the 15th of January. After the 15th of January, everything kind of calms down and people start to, you know, like get back to normal. But before that, everything is unreal. So if you're coming to Ghana and you want, and it's your first time, if it's your first time and you just want it to be an experience, that's great. But if it's your first time coming to Ghana and you're looking to use that as a insight into what it's like to live to Ghana, that's not a reality. Ghana is just definitely not real during that time. And so I don't want you to feel like, oh, this is what Ghana is like. It's just a happening place. Great things happen. It's not like that at all. That's not the reality of what it's like to live here. And another thing I want to say about December in Ghana is that when a lot of diasporans come to Ghana during this time, how do I say this? Okay, the other day I was scrolling on social media and I noticed this trend of diasporans coming in and creating these videos saying XYZ happened to them. And, you know, you see it one or two times and you're like, oh, how did that happen? You know, they often accuse certain establishments of having done certain things. I don't want to go too much into it, but, you know, videos are being made and videos are going viral and it puts Ghana in a very bad light where people are coming on camera and saying whatever they want. And I don't want to say that these stories are not true, but I definitely feel like there is an element of fabrication in them when people are telling these stories, because I listen to some of these stories, I'm like, I've been here so long. And I mean, I don't know anybody that some of these things have happened to. And whether or not, I can't say that the person is lying or it's untrue. I can't say that. I really can't say that. And I'm not saying that. But I'm like, how is this happening? I don't know if it's because Ghana is becoming so hyped that people are becoming desperate where more bad things are happening, or people are making up this stuff for clout. And I just want to say, if you're coming to Ghana and you're making up stuff for clout, just to go viral or because you want to make a name for yourself, you cannot do that. It's not fair on the rest of us. It really does bring a lot of disunity between us in the diaspora and those and like local Ghanaian people, it really does, because they feel that we are telling stories that are not true. If it happened to you and you're telling your story, hey, I'm not saying don't tell your story, but if you're coming and you are over fabricating a story, just be careful, because there is a consequence to that, okay? You are actually going to make Ghana unsafe to some respects, because people are going to believe what you're saying. People are also going to be afraid of coming because you've gone around and said this story. As I watch some of these videos on Instagram, I look at the comments and people are like, "Oh no, I'm not doing that." You know, and I noticed that when people even reach out to me for Airbnb, one of the first things they say is it safe there? Is it safe? And I'm like, I'm a single woman with my kids here. It's very safe. I go out, you know, I come back at whatever time in the morning that I want to come back out. I've never felt frightened. I've never felt frightened about coming home at a certain time. I feel quite free. Perhaps maybe it's where I live. I live in a good area, and so therefore I don't have that. I'm not saying that bad things can't happen. Please hear me. I'm not saying bad things can't happen. But, you know, you always have to keep your street smart about you. Even December, you must keep your street smart about you. Some of you come into Ghana in December and you do ridiculous things. You have your dollars falling out of your bag. You've become so drunk and plastered. You're all over the place. Everybody can see that you're vulnerable. And I'm not saying it warrants someone taking advantage of you, but have some decorum about you. Like, know your limits. Like, you wouldn't do that where you're from, where you're just falling apart. You've got your dollars falling out. It's hanging out of your bag. We can all see you've got a $100 bill hanging out of your bag or in your pocket or wherever. Like, you don't do things like that. But for some people, you come to Ghana and you expect that you can do that and it's okay. You can't do that. For one, right, you're talking about this huge disparity when it comes to what locals can afford and what you have, right? So therefore, you're tempting people. So don't come here spending and showing off, you've got money, you're doing this, you're doing that, blah, 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 and expect to not tempt people who are suffering real hardship. You can't do that. You have to take time in what you're doing. And honestly, the reason I'm making this video is because I don't want people to come and spoil Ghana because of December. A lot of things happen during December, and I don't want you to come and spoil it for people. I don't want you to come and put fear in other people where there's no fear to actually be had. Pricing Ghana out when it doesn't need to be priced out. So I think, honestly, there are lessons to be learned for those of us who live here from the diaspora and those of us coming from the diaspora into Ghana to have a good time. It is our moral responsibility to be wise in the things that we are doing and the things that we are saying about Ghana, okay? I have definitely noticed an increase in people making... I want to say negative videos, but I know some of you are going to be like, but you talk about Ghana negatively. I talk about Ghana in a certain way because I want to help and I want to educate. And I can't keep saying it, but that is the reason why I make these videos. Other people make videos just because of clout. And so I want there to be a differentiation between that, okay? Ghana is great. It is December. Come to Ghana, have a great time, do all the wonderful things, experience all the wonderful things, do what you need to do. But just understand that what you do doesn't just affect you, it affects everybody that is coming in after you. And after you've long gone, it affects those of us that have left. And so be responsible if you're coming into Ghana. Think carefully, be a good representation. That is one thing. I'm just going to say this as a final talking point, okay? A lot of local Ghanaians, they feel that us from the diaspora, we are often rude, we don't respect, and a lot of the time, that stigma comes because of what has happened during December, because people are a lot more rowdy, people are a lot more relaxed with their inhibitions during that time, and so we are seen a certain way. So if you're coming to Ghana to have a good time, please, please, please just keep it clean, keep it nice, and let's all just have a good time. Ghana is great. Come, have your fun, enjoy yourselves, do all of that good stuff. Let loose, but do it within reason. Don't spoil it for the rest of us. Ghana is a great place to come to. We want to leave Ghana how we found it, if that makes sense. We want to make sure that Ghana continues to have a good name. It's a safe country. It's a great place to come and relax and do all those amazing things. So we want to keep its name clean. So let's do that. Okay, but anyway, I'm going to end the video there. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've understood what I've tried to say in the video. If you're coming to Ghana and you would love to do a one-to-one consultation with me, send me an email to dela@moretodela.com and we can definitely set something up from there. Okay, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Don't forget to also like, comment and share this video. Until next time, I am out. Nutifafa.